People often say that photographs preserve memories. What they don't tell you is that sometimes they preserve secrets too. My name is Jason. My wife Emily had always loved taking photographs. Every vacation, every birthday, every anniversary, every family gathering. If there was a camera nearby, Emily was probably the one holding it. Our hallway walls were covered with framed memories collected over nearly 13 years of marriage. Looking at them always made our house feel warm, safe, complete, or at least, that's what I believed. One quiet Saturday afternoon, I was cleaning the garage while Emily sorted through old photo albums in the living room. Music played softly through the house. Everything felt completely ordinary, until I heard the sound of breaking glass. I rushed inside. Emily stood beside the dining table. One of our largest family photographs lay flat on the table. The frame wasn't broken. She had carefully removed the glass herself. She didn't even notice me standing there. Instead, she stared at the picture for several seconds. Then, with surprising calmness, she reached inside the frame. She slowly pulled out one photograph, folded it in half, and slipped it into a plain white envelope. I frowned. "What are you doing?" She looked up and smiled, a strangely peaceful smile. "It doesn't belong there anymore." I walked closer. "What doesn't?" She gently placed the frame back together. The photograph still looked almost identical. Almost, but someone was missing. I stared at it. For years, that person had been standing right between Emily and me in every copy of that family picture. Now, only empty space remained. "Emily, why did you take it out?" She looked at the envelope in her hands. "Because I should have done this a long time ago." A chill ran through me. "Who was it?" She didn't answer. Instead, she carried the envelope into our bedroom and placed it inside the top drawer of her nightstand. When she returned, I was still staring at the photograph. Something felt wrong, not because someone had been removed, but because Emily didn't seem upset. She looked relieved. That evening, during dinner, she barely spoke. Every few minutes, she'd glance toward the hallway where the photographs hung, as though she were finally seeing them differently. I couldn't take it anymore. "Emily," she looked up. "Please tell me what's going on." She quietly set down her fork. "I will. But first, you need to know why I've been pretending for almost 10 years. Those words hit me harder than anything else she'd said that day. Pretending? Pretending about what? Before I could ask another question, the doorbell rang. Emily looked toward the front door, closed her eyes for a brief moment, and softly whispered, "They're earlier than I expected." The doorbell rang a second time. Emily didn't move. She simply looked at me and quietly said, "Before you open that door, I need you to hear the whole story." I nodded. She took a slow breath. "Do you remember the family reunion 10 years ago? The one where everyone insisted we take that big picture in your parents' backyard?" "Of course. That's the day this started." I frowned. "What do you mean?" She walked over to the hallway wall and carefully lifted the frame into her hands again. "The person I removed wasn't someone I hated. It was someone I spent years trying to protect." My heart raced. Protect from what? She looked at me with tears in her eyes. From a lie. The doorbell rang again. This time, whoever was outside knocked gently. Emily continued, "The man standing between us in that picture was your cousin, Michael." I nodded slowly. "So? You always believed he moved away after that summer?" "I did." "He didn't." She opened the envelope and handed me the photograph she'd removed. On the back, written in faded blue ink, was a date, and beneath it, a sentence. "One day, tell Jason the truth." I stared at the handwriting. It belonged to my late grandmother. I looked up in disbelief. "What truth?" Emily's voice trembled. 3 months before she passed away, your grandmother asked me to keep something from you." She believed telling you while she was alive would destroy your relationship with your father. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Emily, you're scaring me. She nodded. I know. Michael isn't your cousin. The room fell completely silent. He's your half-brother. I felt as if the floor disappeared beneath me. What? Your father had another child years before he married your mother. Only your grandmother knew. When Michael's mother passed away, he quietly became part of family gatherings as a cousin, so no one would ask questions. I shook my head. No, that can't be true. Emily reached into the envelope again and handed me several old letters. They're from your grandmother. I've read them dozens of times. I hoped she was wrong. But after she passed away, Michael confirmed everything. I could barely breathe. So everyone knew? No, only your grandmother, Michael, and eventually, me. I looked at the family photo again. For 10 years, I'd looked at it without realizing the truth hidden inside it. Emily wiped away a tear. I kept waiting for the right time to tell you. But there never seemed to be one. So why remove his picture today? She smiled sadly. Because I don't want our family memories built on a story that was never true. Just then, the front door opened. I turned toward the hallway. Standing there, holding a small box in his hands, was Michael. He looked at me with nervous eyes. I wasn't sure you'd want to see me. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then he quietly said, I didn't come here to change your past. I came because I was tired of hiding from it. Inside the box were dozens of old photographs, letters, and childhood drawings my grandmother had kept, pieces of a life I'd never known existed. That afternoon, the three of us sat together for hours. There were difficult conversations, painful truths, long silences. Nothing about that day erased the years we'd lost. But for the first time, our family wasn't hiding behind a photograph. It was finally living in the truth. Sometimes, removing one face from an old picture isn't about erasing someone. It's about making room for the truth that was hidden behind the smile.